Okay, let's be honest. Choosing kitchen cabinets can feel absolutely overwhelming, right? There are 1,000 choices, a million opinions, and one very, very expensive decision you have to make. But what if I told you there's a simple way to cut through all that noise and find the perfect cabinets for your home? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We all have this image in our head, right? The dream kitchen. But turning that dream into a reality, that all hinges on the biggest piece of the entire puzzle: the cabinets. I mean, this is the one decision that will define your kitchen for years, maybe even decades. Get it right, and you'll have a space you absolutely love. But get it wrong, and you'll be living with that mistake every single day. Because the second you start looking, you're just hit with this tidal wave of choices. American-made, imported, semi-custom, ready to assemble. What does it all even mean? Each one has its pros and cons, and there's so much conflicting info out there, it's easy to feel like you're completely lost. So how do you find the one that's actually built to last? To make the right choice, we need to totally shift our thinking. Instead of just staring at the price tag, we're going to dig a lot deeper. We're going to learn how to solve the big cabinet conundrum, which is all about understanding the real relationship between cost, quality, and long-term worth. So here's the most important thing to get straight. Cost and worth are not the same thing. Not at all. Cost is just the number on the invoice today. Worth is the value that cabinet delivers over its entire life. Does it actually hold up to you slamming drawers every day? Does it function smoothly? Does it actually add value to your home? You got to remember that old saying: the bitterness of poor quality sticks around a lot longer than the sweetness of a low price. So how do we find that real long-term worth? Well, it's time to become a bit of a cabinet detective. We have to look past the pretty door styles and the trendy colors. We are going to look for the hidden clues that reveal the true quality of a cabinet. Clues that, honestly, most people totally overlook. It's a lot like buying a car. You wouldn't just look at the shiny paint job and say, yep, that's the one, right? Of course not. You'd want to know what's under the hood. Well, the exact same logic applies to your cabinets. And under the hood, the very first thing we find is the cabinet box itself. Now, your two main options are plywood and particle board, which you'll also hear called MDF. Plywood is really the industry standard for quality. It's stronger, it's lighter, and it handles moisture so much better. Particle board, on the other hand, is cheaper, yeah, but it's heavy and it is notoriously bad with water damage. And it's prone to something called screw blowout, where a screw literally rips right out of the material because it just can't get a solid grip. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. This is a great point. A lot of imported cabinets will brag about their all-plywood construction, but as this quote from Robert Cole shows, it's not always about giving you a better product. A lot of the time, they use plywood for one simple reason. It's the only material that can actually survive a long, humid trip on a container ship, a trip that would absolutely destroy particle board. So it's a choice made out of logistics, not necessarily a dedication to superior quality. Okay, so if we can't always trust that all plywood label, what are the real signs of a well-built cabinet? Let's move on and really examine the true anatomy of strength, the little construction details that will tell you if a cabinet is built to last for a decade or for a lifetime. Okay, next time you're in a showroom, look at the top of a base cabinet. A quality one will have solid wood I-beams that run from the front to the back, locking all four sides together. This creates a super rigid frame that can support the heaviest granite or quartz countertops. And the budget alternative? These flimsy little plastic corner gussets that are just stapled in. They're basically like a Band-Aid. They might hold things together for shipping, but they offer zero long-term structural strength. Next, pull out a drawer. The absolute gold standard is a dovetail joint. You see those interlocking wood teeth? They create an incredibly strong mechanical bond. It's a true sign of craftsmanship. The low-end version is usually a simple butt joint, literally just two pieces of wood butted up against each other, held together with a few staples and some glue. This joint is almost always the very first thing to fail in a cheap cabinet. And here it is. This is exactly what you want to see. Solid wood sides, clean, tight dovetail joints. When you see this, it's a crystal clear sign that this drawer box was built to last for the long haul. No question about it. And please, let's not forget the hardware. These are the unsung heroes of your kitchen. They're doing the heavy lifting every single day. You want to look for full extension undermount steel glides so you can actually reach things in the back of the drawer. They should have a smooth ball bearing action, a soft close feature so nothing slams, and, this is important, be rated to hold at least 70 pounds. This is what gives a cabinet that solid premium feel. All right, so we've covered the nuts and bolts of the cabinet itself. but the quality of the product is only part of the equation. Now let's talk about the crucial unseen factors that can absolutely make or break your entire project: your dealer, the warranty, and how the cabinet is actually put together. Seriously, think of your dealer as the captain of your kitchen remodel ship. A good captain is going to navigate the whole process with skill and expertise, making sure you have a smooth journey. But a bad captain, they can run the entire project to ground, leaving you with a costly, frustrating, and enormous mess. You have to vet them carefully. You know, a warranty tells you a story. It tells you exactly how much confidence the manufacturer has in their own product. High-quality brands will often offer a limited lifetime warranty. Budget or imported cabinets, you might only see 1 to 5 years. The general rule of thumb is that a product is designed to outlast its warranty, but a longer one is a clear signal that the company is willing to stand behind the quality and durability of what they're selling you. So, we've looked at the cabinet and the people who sell it, but there is one more massive piece to this puzzle. The cabinet you choose is connected to a really complex global supply chain. And believe it or not, things like international trade and safety regulations have a direct impact on the price, the quality, and even the health of your kitchen. A key issue here, which has been reported by places like the Wall Street Journal, is something called transshipment. Basically, to avoid U.S. tariffs, some manufacturers will illegally route cabinets made in China through another country, like Malaysia, and just lie about where they came from. This doesn't just hurt honest businesses, it means you might not actually be getting what you think you paid for. And that brings us to a critical health and safety standard: CARB Phase 2 compliance. It's a rule that strictly limits formaldehyde emissions from materials like particle board and MDF. Formaldehyde is a known carcinogen, so making sure your cabinets meet this standard is absolutely vital for your family's indoor air quality. Always, always look for this label. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, from dovetail joints all the way to international trade. So now let's bring it all together. We've boiled everything down into a final, actionable checklist you can literally take with you into any cabinet showroom. These right here, these are the 6 questions that will empower you to cut right through the sales pitch and get to the actual truth. Ask about the box material, ask to see the drawer joints, ask about the brand of hardware, the assembly, the warranty, and definitely ask about CARB 2 compliance. The answers to these questions will tell you everything you need to know about the real quality of the cabinet in front of you. So as you start your kitchen journey, just remember this: a beautiful kitchen is so much more than just a pretty face. It's a space that's built to last, a space that's going to be the heart of your home for years to come. The real question you need to ask yourself is, are you buying a temporary cabinet or a lifetime cabinet? Choose wisely, and you'll get a kitchen that's not only beautiful, but is a smart, lasting investment.